Hi, Mark Anderson from First Landing Autocare. It's definitely time to talk about automobile air conditioning. Automobile air conditioning controls range from very simple, like these in my Ford Ranger, with a simple fan speed knob and deciding where you want the air to go, and the temperature control, of course. You're all familiar with that. And then you have a fancy schmancy automatic dual temperature zone control like the one in this Volvo that has more knobs and buttons than you can shake a stick at, but they all pretty much do the same thing. Assuming that the AC in a car is basically working, the first thing we check for is to see how well it's working, and we do that by measuring the temperature at the output vents on the dash. Here I'm using an electronic thermometer. It's about, the temperature is in the upper 70s, and as you can see, the AC is putting out 50-degree air at the dash. We like to see a minimum 20 degrees difference between the air coming out of the dash and the ambient air in the car. So 52, 50 degrees, that's pretty good. That's cooling the car off pretty well, especially considering that we're sitting here in the sun. Next thing we look for is proper operation of the controls. We look to see if the blower motor operates in all speeds, and if the temperature control operates properly. And finally, we look to see if the air ducts under the dashboard are working properly, and put air where you want it. It can change things around to put it up on the vents on the dashboard here at the top, blow it out down at your feet, in theory, wherever you want it to go, and we look to make sure that all those are operating properly. To get maximum cooling from your car's AC system, you need to ensure that the car is in the recirculate mode for air movement. In this case, on the Ford, you put it in the max AC position, and what that does is draws air from the inside, the interior of the car, rather than drawing it from outside. If you have it coming in from the outside, you're continually trying to cool hot, humid air from outside, when you could be re-cooling air that you've already cooled inside the car, and that makes the system operate much more efficiently. On most cars, there's a button of some sort that determines whether you're in the vent mode or the recirculate mode. Look for it on your car. When you're running the AC, you probably always want to have it in the recirculate mode. We would then proceed to do a visual inspection of the underhood components, such as the compressor and the drive belt, to make sure they're in good physical shape. Other components like the accumulator that you see here. And there's a lot on the AC system that can't even be seen under the hood, but we have ways to test them and determine whether they're operating. The days when you could simply buy a can of Freon at your corner auto parts store and put it in your car to get it working again are long gone. Today you have to put the exact amount of Freon in the car by weight to ensure proper operation, and you can damage the system by putting in too much or too little Freon. This machine that we're looking at here automatically weighs the Freon that it pulls out of the car to tell us whether the car was under or overcharged. Runs a vacuum on the system, runs leak tests on the system, and then puts the exact amount of Freon back in the system by weight to ensure proper operation. Doing it any other way can really foul up your expensive air conditioning system. When we recharge your system, we include a small amount of what's called leak detector dye that's visible under ultraviolet light. So in the event it leaks in the future, we can see pretty readily where the leak is and repair it much more quickly than if we had not put the dye in. So you're having a really bad day and this thing, your compressor bites the dust. What do? Well, you bring it to us, and we fix all the necessary components to make sure that you get the full warranty on it. To get the full warranty on the compressor, you have to replace the accumulator, you have to flush out the system, and you have to replace the orifice tube or expansion valve, whichever one your car has. The important thing is flushing out the system to make sure that you get all the contaminants from the old compressor out of the system, because otherwise they can just clog the system up again when we refill the system with Freon and check it out. So We do all that to make sure that you have a system that we can warranty and make sure it operates at the maximum efficiency. There's one more thing we need to consider. Now that we've got your AC system operating at maximum efficiency and the compressor is working and it's blowing nice cold air and all the ducts are working in the dashboard and everything, most modern cars have something called a cabin air filter. This is a typical cabin air filter. It filters the air inside the car, the air that you breathe in the interior of the car. And you can have a great operating AC system, and if this is clogged up like this one is, then you're not going to be getting much airflow through the system. So you need to come in and let us check that out. Most cars today have them, some cars don't, but it's easy to tell. And changing this filter, particularly now when there's so much pollen in the air and that sort of thing, can really make a big difference inside your car. We also have other services we offer to get rid of the bad odor that exists in a lot of AC systems, and it also helps make sure that the system is operating to peak efficiency. So come on in and see us, and we can take care of your air conditioning and make sure, even if it's working, come in and we can make sure that it's operating the way it's supposed to be working. Come see us. Thanks.